When my grandmother passed away, she left me her old antique table. It was beautiful in its own way, intricately carved with ornate designs, but there was something unsettling about it. Grandma never liked talking about its history. Whenever I asked, she'd simply say, "It's been in the family for generations," and change the subject. The first night I had it in my apartment, I couldn't sleep. The table sat ominously in the corner of my living room, its dark wood gleaming in the dim light. I felt like it was watching me, but I brushed off the feeling as grief and exhaustion. A week passed, and strange things began to happen. At first, it was small, a creak here, a groan there. But then I started waking up to find items on the table rearranged. One night, I found a dusty old photo of a woman I didn't recognize placed right in the center. She looked like my grandmother, but younger, and there was a deep sadness in her eyes. One evening, as I was working late, as I heard a soft whisper, I froze, listening. The whisper grew louder, almost urgent. "Help me," it said, clear as day. My heart pounded in my chest as I looked around, but I was alone. Desperate for answers, I called my mom. "Do you know anything about Grandma's table?" I asked. There was a long silence before she replied, her voice trembling. "Your grandmother never wanted you to have it. She said it was cursed, that it was a conduit for something dark." That night, I dreamt of the woman in the photo. She stood by the table, her eyes pleading. "Release me," she said, her voice echoing in the vast emptiness. The next day, I decided to dig into the table's history. I visited antique shops, consulted historians, and even looked through old family records. I discovered that the table had originally belonged to a woman named Eliza, who had vanished mysteriously in the late 1800s. It was rumored she was trapped within the table, bound by a dark ritual. Determined to free her, I gathered every bit of information I could find on breaking curses. Following an old ritual, I lit candles around the table and recited an incantation. The air grew cold, and the room filled with a chilling wind. The table groaned, its wood splintering as if under immense pressure. Suddenly, the figure of the woman appeared before me, translucent and ethereal. "Thank you," she whispered, her form shimmering. And then, she was gone. The table collapsed into a heap of splinters and dust. The oppressive presence that had haunted my apartment vanished. It was over. I never found out exactly what had happened to Eliza, but I knew one thing: she was finally free. And as for me, I learned to be careful about the things we inherit. Some legacies are better left forgotten.